Miss Rachel, child YouTube star for children. Child YouTube star is very different. Miss Rachel, who single-handedly prevented my daughter from being afraid of the doctor. Just watched the doctor episode over and over again, loved it, and then just waltzed into her 2-year appointment like it was nothing, stepped on the scale, loved it, was chill, loves a stethoscope, can say the word stethoscope, can say the word ophthalmoscope. Not to brag. Miss Rachel is, initially you're like, wow, she's really got a great YouTube channel. She's really crushing it. She seems nice. She's got a very high-pitched voice. She got a beautiful singing voice. She's good with kids. Then you watch a little bit more about who this woman is, Rachel Accurso. You see how she has been posting about the starvation in Gaza, about the amputees in Gaza, the children who are being maimed. And then you listen to her on outlets like Zeteo and you realize, oh, no, I actually think Miss Rachel might be an angel. And I say that as someone who's not religious. I am not religious. I really don't like when people do the God bless you or blessings and angels are among us. And you're no. I'm like, I don't know about all that. I suspend all of that anti-angel talk to talk about Miss Rachel, because after watching this interview, I am fully convinced she is an angel walking this earth. I'm giving you, this is a little bit of an insight into Zeteo because I am a member, but everyone should become a member so you can get access to this full interview. I'm sure it'll be available on YouTube, but I want to watch a little bit about Rachel, Miss Rachel, because the New York Times this week had an entire article about her that actually quotes her critics that consist of the organization antisemitism.org. That is what the New York Times, the paper of record, has legitimately quoted as a critic of Miss Rachel. And they give it such a disgustingly smug, obnoxious, centrist ass, low-key, right-wing title, which is why tot celebrity Miss Rachel waded into the Gaza debate. I love the words. I love the flowery language of waded. Debate. Is there a debate? What's the debate? Genocide, no genocide? Some children do deserve to starve. Other children don't deserve to starve. Palestinian lives matter less than Israeli lives. What's the debate? What is weighted? Facing criticism, Rachel Accurso defends making the plight of children in Gaza a primary focus on her social media feeds. Here she is looking adorable. And they basically talk about, all of the videos that she's posted, how she posts video of herself meeting a double amputee named Rahaf. I mean, this is so sweet. I could cry. I saw these posts. Miss Rachel talked about meeting Rahaf. She talked about meeting the mother of Hind Rajab, the 6-year-old who was murdered by the Israeli military while she was begging and calling for help from the car that her family was using to escape the violence. The car came under fire. She was calling the paramedics. The paramedics that were sent to rescue her came under fire as well. They were killed. She was killed. 6 years old. And the New York Times has the fucking audacity to say, last month, but Accurso's advocacy on behalf of Gazan children has led some supporters of Israel to accuse her of treating Palestinian children with more sympathy than Israeli ones. Oh my goodness. Why would someone treat Palestinian children with a disproportionate amount of sympathy than Israeli ones? And it might have something to do with numbers or amount of bombs or 14,000 children being killed in 18 months. I don't know. In Israel, is there a term for a child who survives with no surviving family, minor with no surviving relatives? Is there a term for that? Because there's an acronym for that in Gaza. Is there no? Okay. Well, then that might give you a little bit of an insight into why there is different treatment of the amount of children that have been maimed, disabled, and killed from this genocide than, in Israel. The advocacy group Stop Anti-Semitism labeled Accurso the, quote, anti-Semite of the week, and the New York Post reported sent a letter urging Attorney General Pam Bondi to investigate whether Accurso is receiving funding to further Hamas's agenda. Okay, can you push back on that? Then they quote antisemitism.org. Accurso said, this accusation is not only absurd, it is patently false. She said, the reason I post about Israeli children is because I care deeply about them. The accusation I would be doing it for any other reason is outrageous and wrong. She has also posted about Israeli children, by the way. So like, they don't even say. It's kind of crazy to call a children's YouTube star a Hamas agent. We're just going to have her answer that on her own. So, but I digress because we have to go back to the Zeteo interview. And this is the way Francesca likes to do her episodes, is going back and forth, teasing, revealing, teasing. Here's a little bit of this interview. Hassan. She talks about how she got started in children's entertainment. She talks about how she did specific videos for her son who was late to speech. And then she talks about how she got involved with issues like Gaza. And I want to just play, I'm trying to get to that moment. So forgive me if I'm at the wrong moment here, but here we go.
Missing limbs, kids mourning their parents, parents mourning their kids. And I'm just wondering, is it something you followed always, or did you also, like millions of other Americans, come to this via social media, just seeing these horrific, tragic videos in social media?
So I didn't know much before. And I was just horrified by October 7th. And then I just tried to listen and learn. And I still am doing that with friends and people. So I had been working with Save the Children prior. When the show became successful, I got an agent, and my agent was like, tell me about what you want to do. And I was like, I want to be connected to charities, and I want to do work helping children. So I got.
Okay, let me just stop right there. She got an agent, and the agent said, what do you want to do? Right? She could have said, I want to be on Broadway. I want to tour the country. I want to, get 5 million subscribers instead of 3. I don't know her subscriber count. I think it's even more than that. I want to be on prime time. I want to have a daytime show. No. She said, and granted, she might have said those other things. I don't know. But she said, I want to be connected with charities that work for children. Hello, Hollywood agent. I'd like to connect with charities that work for children and use my massive platform to advocate for and raise money for children. That's literally what this woman said.
I got involved with Save the Children.
Great charity.
Yeah. And I was learning from their team and their CEO about a lot of things going on with children here in the US, food insecurity. I was learning about the Congo. She had just come back from there, and they asked me if I wanted to have a meeting with her, and I wanted to learn about that. And I just asked, like, what is a day like for kids there? And then she was in Gaza, and she came back, and they said, would you want to meet from her and hear what it's like for kids there? And I was like, definitely. So I heard from her, and I knew she was there, and she was describing what was happening firsthand. And then, of course, I did see the distressing, horrific images online. And of course, certain ones just stick in your head, and you just think about your own children.
So she got connected with Save the Children. One of the directors of Save the Children was in Gaza. I believe this was before October 7th. And she was like, yeah, I do want to find out about what's going on in Gaza. So this was prior. And then when everything was playing out, when the genocide was playing out, she couldn't, she also, like everyone else, was seeing these horrific images. But there's more that she says.
And so silence wasn't a choice for me.
Dare I ask, is there an image that does stick in your head? I suppose.
Silence wasn't a choice for me, people. She does children's YouTube content. If she can say something, we can all say something.
I interviewed Gary Lineker, who's a very famous footballer in the UK and not a political person. And he's been speaking out a lot and he's been criticized for it. And I remember interviewing him and he said, I just sit on my own sometimes watching videos. I sit and cry. And I thought, wow, this kind of footballer, somebody you see is just very emotional. I just wonder, I know there are things I've seen that I will never be able to unsee since in the last 18 months. I just wonder, was there one particular thing about a child? I don't know. I know you've posted about a lot of individual children.
Definitely.
But before you started posting about children reaching out, I do want to come to some of the children you've connected with. But I'm interested in that moment in those few months after October 7th, when our feeds were just crazy. I'm just wondering, as someone who's just an ordinary American, not Miss Rachel, the YouTube creator, was there something that just stopped you in your tracks?
There are multiple that I can't forget. There was a little boy who was really shocked and he was shaking, and his eyes were there was so much terror in his eyes, and a healthcare worker was being so compassionate, and you see that compassion, and he finally was able to cry because he was just so shocked he couldn't even cry. And then Hinder Job's voice on the phone.
Yes.
I'll never forget. And I know some people can't even listen because it's so hard, and I think that's so understandable, but as just her voice, and a little boy who was staring at the wall, who had lost his whole family and just was staring. And then there was a little, oh my gosh, sorry, a child in like a rainbow onesie, and my daughter has a rainbow onesie, and I had to give it away because you just see that and it just doesn't make any sense, because as grown-ups, we know what children need and what they deserve and what will help them grow into happy, healthy adults. And it will benefit us all. It's right to speak out because this is wrong, but it's also right to speak out because it's going to benefit everyone.
You guys need to understand, this is the biggest rising children's star of the moment. She just got a Netflix deal. She's the only person who I know who has spoken out about Gaza and got a raise. Everyone's too fucking scared to say anything because everyone wants, at least they used to want job opportunities. Now it's sort of clear, number one, there's no job opportunities. And number two, this genocide is not going to end. This woman had everything to gain. She is not famous. She's not independently wealthy. She's not anyone's daughter, or, she is the wife of a very, very supportive husband. But she literally could have said nothing, but this is how apolitical. I need everyone to understand how apolitical this genocide is. This is about, we want to stop the killing of children, period. This is about, we want to stop the maiming of children, that you've got the biggest YouTube star who is an educator by her own right. She went to school to study after she started. This is someone who, when she got a platform, she used it to then go back to school to get actually an education degree, to do right by her viewers, to do right by the people who watch her show and her program. I mean, and now she's saying this about Gaza, and she said silence wasn't an option for me. And StopAntisemitism.org, which has doxxed everyone from flight attendants to Mahmoud Khalil, who is still in detention right now, who tweets at Marco Rubio, who sends letters to Pam Bondi, and the New York Times is going to quote them as if they're legitimate and not part of the brown shirts brigade, the Gestapo, that is using fake allegations of working with Hamas. Come on. You suck. You suck so hard. You suck so hard. Everybody supports Zeteo, support the Bitchuation Room.
They deserve and what will help them grow into happy, healthy adults. And it will benefit us all. It's right to speak out because this is wrong, but it's also right to speak out because it's going to benefit everyone.
I'm going to ask you a difficult question. had a friend of mine recently. I was talking to him, and he said his daughter got married, and he was at the wedding, and he said, "All I could think about at the wedding was we're all enjoying and having great food, and what's happening in Gaza. The way they're suffering." And I think about someone like yourself, and I've had the same experience as my wife. We've all had, we go to work, you come home, you think about all the stuff you've been covering. You work with kids. That's literally what you do. You entertain children. You make them laugh. You help them potty train. You see them at their most vulnerable, and you're doing that on YouTube. And then at the same time, you're speaking out and sharing videos and talking about. I think you wished. I saw a post of yours recently where you actually it would have been Hind Rajab's birthday. You're doing that at the same time. I'm just wondering how you're doing both.
It's not easy, but I always think about what's going on over there, and then it becomes just something you have to do. As a teacher, you care about all kids, and I think so many years of teaching, you just see them all as so similar. They all love to laugh, and they love to learn, and they love to play, and they deserve to play, and they have human rights, and so you see them as so similar.
You mentioned
they deserve to play. They have human rights. I'm just like, she's like, I've worked with kids for so long, and I'm sorry if the volume is low. There's only so much I can do. They have human rights. Children have human rights, and they're so similar. And this is the thing, is we're part of the Zionist propaganda machine is telling us that actually the children of Palestinians are not similar. They're different. The Palestinian children are different, that they are taught to hate, that they are born terrorists. And if you support Israel at this point, you have to buy into the narrative that actually children are not the same, that some children are evil, that some children don't deserve to eat food, that some children don't deserve to play, that some children should be killed. That is where we're at. We've always been there, mind you. We've always been there. But we are crucially at that point now. And Miss Rachel's been speaking out a lot. This is not the first time. It's been progressive. She's ramped up. Unlike a lot of folks, maybe they spoke out initially, now they're saying less. Maybe they felt like they did something and they raised some money. No. Miss Rachel started a little bit. Biden, the Democrats lost the election. She kept going. She's still going. She's doing more. Again, it's just like when you see this through the eyes of someone who is a deep empath, who is a professional empath, it all becomes really, really simple.
Hind Rajab, which is one of the most shocking stories of the last 18 months. But you haven't just posted about Hind Rajab. I believe you've been in contact with her mom.
Her mom messaged me. It's crazy that with Instagram, people can message you. And so
I think that's how we first connected.
Yes. And I was delighted.
Oh my God, she's so sweet. I think that's how we connected. Yes, and I was delighted. Can you think of a sweeter person?
Crazy how on Instagram you can connect with moms. And actually little kids message me too. And I had one recently who lost her parents and siblings. She just has grandma.
Where?
Gaza.
In Gaza.
And she sent me a voice memo, and she's like, Miss Rachel, can you stay with me? I don't have my family. And I voice messaged back like, I'm here, of course. Thanks for reaching out. And
you shared some pictures on your Instagram of meeting.
Dude, she's receiving voice memos from kids in Gaza. Like, can you imagine? And yes, I mean, I feel for the kids in Gaza. It's a lot for her to take on. I mean, she is a fucking angel. She's an angel.
With a little girl from Gaza who came to see you.
Yes, Rahaf.
Rahaf, tell us about Rahaf.
Rahaf, I wish everyone in the world could meet her. She's so delightful. I gave her some gifts, and I gave her like a box of rings, and right away she put one on me and everybody who was around. She was like, okay, here's one for me. Now I'm going to give one to everybody. She has the best laugh. When your children laugh, and their laugh is so cute. And she was squealing. And so like we all started laughing because she was just so cute. And she falls a lot. She has 2 prosthetics. And she falls a lot. And I asked her host family and her mom through a translator, do you guys kind of spot her or do you just let her fall? Because I know kids love to be independent. We all know kids are like, I want to do it myself, all by myself. Like every kid says that. So they're like, no.
My favorite part about this interview is that little part where she's like, all kids say I want to do it myself, because I always tell everyone like, oh, my daughter's so independent. She always says, I want to do it myself. I want to do it myself. But the fact that like Miss Rachel's like, no, all kids do that. I'm like, oh man, she not special. But she's saying she met with this double amputee Rahaf, and that, oh my God, that like she met her. She met her, she gave her love, she gave her presents.
Just let her run around and you don't have to spot her or anything. So she would fall like on her face and then she'd just pop up and want to hop like a bunny. And she was just so precious. And she was a vivid example of how when children have what they need, medical care, healthy food, support, they're going to thrive and they're so resilient. And then somebody asked her mom what she wanted to say to me, and her mom talked a lot about her mental health improving with the show. And then I was shown pictures and videos of her in Gaza, on a hospital floor, and then her just kind of staring into space, looking down, and you can see the effect on her physical and mental health. And so you see, okay, we know what's not right for children. And now we see what is, and we can see it through images and video of her. And I told her mom, like, she's so bright and she's just going to do great. Like, she's just, she's so worried about her. And the difficult thing is we're so joyful and hopping like bunnies and laughing so hard. And then Isra, her mom, grabs her phone and has her little boys on FaceTime. And her boys are adorable. I think they're around age 7 and 9. And they're in Gaza. And here I am like thinking, like trying to be sweet and talk to her boys in like the Miss Rachel voice. But I'm also like, what if my son was over there and my husband, and then I'm here with my little girl losing her legs. And then I'm thinking about the boys, and I was asking if there's any way they can come here. And this wonderful woman was saying, because I was asking kind of her she was translating, and I said, is there any way for them to come here? And she was saying no. And she was saying they don't eat anymore on FaceTime with them. Sorry.
No, it's a horrific situation.
I will never forgive Medhi Hasan for making Miss Rachel cry. God damn it. I will never forgive you.
Where the controversy is coming from. What you're doing is just so human.
It's sad that people try to make it controversial when you speak out for children that are facing immeasurable suffering. The largest cohort of child amputees in modern history, that acronym for a child who has no surviving relatives. And I think it should be controversial to not say anything.
You mentioned...
I'm going to leave it there. I think it should be controversial to not say anything. Oh, girl. She just, that's the nugget I wanted. That's just so brilliant and beautiful. It absolutely is controversial and should be controversial to not say anything. Here she is 2 days ago posting on Instagram. It's not a crime to say the children of Gaza should have food and medical care. It's a crime to keep it from them. Mind you, Miss Rachel has never said Israel. She doesn't. She also later in this interview, she cries thinking about the Israeli children who were killed on October 7th. This is not she's also so sweet. She's like, at the end, she's like, sorry, I cried like 18 times. So sweet. But this is the closest as she gets. She's not saying like stop Israeli war crimes. She's saying it's a crime to keep the aid from them. And it's not Israeli war crimes. It's American war crimes. All right? It's on us. It's on this government. And just to like sort of peruse, you see what she is saying. She's reposting these videos from Zeteo. The fact that she even did this interview. Here she is talking about a doll that she got for Rahaf.
This is her, and she has prosthetics like Rahaf. And I found this outfit that she can put on her. I hope she likes her. Meeting Rahaf has changed my life forever, and I just love and adore her. Thank you for giving me this platform. I will always use it to stand up for kids.
Oh my God. I'm sorry. This is a person who, even I don't like kids that much, and I have a kid. Even I don't like kids that much. She is so genuine. She is so pure. She is so honest. She is so real. She is so empathetic. She uses her platform and the money she's gotten and to speak out for the people, as she says this, in emergency situations. When there are children in emergency situations, we give them care and attention because they are in emergency situations. I mean, even the way that it literally, quite literally, to break through to the mind of a like propagandized Zionist, you have to speak like a children's entertainer. You have to speak slowly and explicitly. This is about protecting children who are in emergency situations. Can you understand that what's happening in Gaza right now is an emergency situation? Wouldn't you want, if you were in an emergency situation, to also have food and medicine and water? I mean, this is the only thing that gets through to people, and it even hasn't to like the most committed psychopaths. What's going on, Frantifa? If you haven't already, subscribe to this channel right now. Hit that button. And also, you can become a patron and support the show every single week. Get access to bonus episodes and exclusive merchandise. Patreon.com/bitchuation room. Do